Okay, today's topic is about internal rate of return, IRR. So, what is meant by internal rate of return? Internal rate of return is nothing but a discount rate at which the cash flows are going to be discounted. Okay, so you may ask, what is the difference between the previous methods and this internal rate of return? Under previous method, they will be provided as with the cost of capital. That cost of capital will be taken for the purpose of discounting your cash flow. Whereas under internal rate of return, what happens is you're going to find that rate itself. Okay, you will be finding your own rate. Then you will be using that rate to compute the discounted cash flows. So guys, at discounted cash flow, what happens is sum of discounted cash inflows is equal to sum of discounted cash outflows. Okay. If you have a deep look into it, sum of discounted cash inflows nothing but your present value of cash inflow, and sum of discounted cash outflow is nothing but present value of cash outflow. Thus, it is present value of cash inflows is equal to present value of cash outflow. We are going to find a rate which will be equating this two. Okay. So, the main takeaway from IRR is that at IRR, your net present value is going to be zero, since your present value of cash inflow is equal to present value of cash outflow, and your profitability index is going to be 1, since your present value of cash inflow is equal to present value of cash outflow. Okay, so this is the thumb rule under IRR. Okay, so let us move further. As we saw in the previous methods, here also there is this decision rule. The decision rule are IRR should be greater than or equal to cost of capital, then you're going to accept the project. In case IRR is less than cost of capital, you are going to reject the project. Okay. So if IRR is equal to cost of capital, in that case what you will be doing, either you accept or reject the project, because this is the indifference point. Okay, accepting or rejecting will provide you with the same result. So why we are going for the project when the IRR is greater than cost of capital? Because here also there is this assumption that the cash flows generated, the cash inflows generated by the project will be reinvested immediately at the rate of internal rate of return. If you remember, in net present value, we will be again reinvesting the cash flows at the rate of cost of capital. Whereas under internal rate of return, we will be reinvesting the cash inflows at the rate of IRR. So whenever IRR is greater than cost of capital, it will be result in more return than the previous one. So that only we are going with this IRR. Okay, let us move further. Here I am just going to talk about how to calculate the IRR. IRR can be calculated by two methods depending on the cash flows, okay, pattern of cash flows. One is annuity method and another one is trial and error method. Under annuity method, the cash flows or of uniform nature, that is uniform cash flows. Under trial and error method, there will be an unequal cash flows. Okay, let us see the steps under annuity method. First step is you are going to find annuity discount factor, say A. The formula is nothing but initial investment divided by annual net cash flows. And again, under trial and error method, the first step is you're going to find fake payback period, whose formula is initial investment divided by average net cash flow. If you have a deep look into it, these two formulas are same, guys. That is, you're going to start the sum. Either method, you're going to start the sum with the same formula. Okay, the second step is nothing but I'm just going to locate the value A in present value annuity factor table corresponding to the life of the project, that is n year row. So I will be showing you with this present value annuity factor table how to find the value out of the table. So don't worry, we will be seeing that too. So after locating this A, we will be arriving with two answers. One is exact value of A in the table itself. If A is 2.77, then the table will be having 2.77 along this life of project row. Okay, then that case what happens will be seen shortly, or else we won't be having this exact value. We cannot find the value of a in that table. So when the exact value is there, then that value, the value corresponding to that will be taken as your IRR. It will be understood easily when I just show you with the table. So now what happens if I can't able to locate the exact value? Then I'm just going to use this trial and error method steps to find my internal rate of return. So the second step under trial and error method is nothing but I am just going to, since it is a trial and error method, I'm just going to work this sum by a trial basis. I'm just taking the random numbers, and with the help of that random rates I'm just going to discount the cash flow. This is one type. Okay, I'm just going to take a random rate, or else I will be locating the value of the fake payback period in the present value annuity factor table corresponding to what? Corresponding to the life of the project, and with the help of that I will be arriving with two rates. One rate is lower rate and another rate is higher rate. So after arriving this lower rate and higher rate, I will be finding my net present value at lower rate and net present value at higher rate. After finding all of these, I will be substituting those values in the formula, that is interpolation formula, called LR plus net present value at lower rate divided by net present value at lower rate minus net present value at higher rate into higher rate minus lower rate. The beauty of this formula is derived in such a way that you will be arriving with a positive rate. Okay, the value finally you will be arriving is positive. Okay, keep it in mind. Suppose if you just lost somewhere, it may help. Okay, let us move further, guys. Okay, with the help of an example, let us have one deep look into it, how it works. Okay, so there is this A Limited is evaluating a project involving an initial investment of rupees 10 lakh, resulting in an annual cash inflow of rupees 2 lakh 50,000 for 6 years. There is no salvage value. Determine the IRR of the project. Okay, since annual inflow is rupees 2.5 lakh for 6 years, it is uniform cash flow. So in previous slide what we have saw is, if there is in this uniform cash flow, I am going to use my annuity method. So under annuity method, the first step is to find the annuity discount factor, say A. So what is this? What is the formula? Initial investment divided by annual net cash flow after tax. So if I substitute the values in the formula, I am arriving with 4. Now I am going to locate the value 4 in my present value annuity factor table corresponding to 6 years. Why 6 years? 6 years is what? 6 years is the life of the project or the cash inflows that is generated by making this investment. So 6 years. Let us go to this present value table. So what happens here, guys? Just look. The first column is nothing but it is your period. In that period, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is nothing but your number of years of the project, or the number of years the project going to generate your cash inflow. So in our sum, it is being provided this, we are going to have this uniform cash inflow of rupees 2.5 lakh for how many years? 6 years. So I am just picking this 6. Okay. So now what I'm going to do? I'm going to locate the value 4 along this row 6. Okay, let me locate, guys. So as I said, this 6 is nothing but period of the cash flow. If the period of the cash flow is 6, then take 6. If the period of cash flow is 8, then go for 8. So that's how you will be picking the values. Along 6, I'm just going to find my value 4. So at this point, you should get this into your mind that already we have seen one, we will be having this exact value. If I got the exact value, then that value is, then that the sum stops. I will be looking above, then there is this 4%, 5%, 6%, right? That is your internal rate of return. So here there is no exact values. What I will be doing is, I will be locating the approximate value to this 4. So what is the approximate value to this 4? If I have a keen look into it, this 4.111 and 3.998 is the approximate value to 4. So I'm just going to pick these two values. So after picking these two values, just go above this table. So this 12 percentage, so that means that your IRR is going to lie between these two percentages, right? That is 4.111 and 3.988. Somewhere between this only a 4 will be coming. So this 12 percentage and 13 percentage is the two rates, that is one is the lower rate and another is the higher rate. With the help of this, I will be substituting these values in the interpolation formula. Just now we have saw that formula, then we will be arriving with our IRR, which will be 12 point something. Okay, let us move further. So the value 4 lies between what? 4.111 and 3.998. So the corresponding discounting rates are 12 percentage. So that is discounting rate. Okay, discounting rate is 12 percentage and 13 percentage. This 12 percentage is the lower rate and 13 percentage is the higher rate. Now I am just going to substitute these values. Before that, I must be finding my net present value at lower rate and net present value at higher rate. So what is the formula? IRR is equal to lower rate plus net present value at lower rate divided by, it is not off, it is at, okay, net present value at lower rate minus net present value at higher rate into higher rate minus lower rate. Okay, let us go into the working note. So once again, I'm just writing the formula, guys. So yes, this is the formula. And guys, this okay, here this at, okay, it is not off, net present value at, I'm just going to find the value at that rate. Okay, so after right, so these are the things we are required, right? Lower rate, higher rate. Already I found the lower rate and higher rate with the help of the table. And then now I'm just going to work out my net present value at lower rate and net present value at higher rate. It is so simple. Okay, let us find the net present value at the lower rate. It is nothing but this 4.11 is your annuity factor. That's why it is called as annuity method. Okay, simply the help of the present value table, you will be getting your annuity factor 4.11 into 2,50,000. That is, yeah, I'm just computing the present value of cash inflow here minus present value of cash outflow. That is my 10 lakhs, right? So finally, I will be arriving with my net present value at lower rate. Now my net present value at higher rate. So it is nothing but 3.998 into 2,50,000 minus my initial investment. So it will be provided. So don't ever get confused. This net present value is again this formula I have just substituted. Okay, it is nothing but present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows. I'm just arriving with my net present value. Simple. I'm just did in this single step. Don't ever get confused. If you even get any confusion, kindly reach me. Okay, by substituting all these values, okay, net present value at lower rate, at higher rate, in this equation 1, I will be arriving with my answer. Okay, let me substitute that and show you. Since 500 is of negative, minus into minus will become positive, so that is plus sign, so we have to add the denominator. So again it is higher rate minus lower rate, hence 13 minus 12. So as I said, this formula is very beautifully placed that you will be arriving with the positive answer. So the final answer is nothing but 12.98 percentage. Okay, since we cannot able to locate the exact value in the present value annuity factor table, we are just taking this approximate value to find our IRR. Okay, this is the conclusion here. This is how this sum works. So let us move further to the next method, nothing but trial and error method. So this method will be used when there is no uniform cash flow, there is an unequal cash flow. Okay, let us look into a sum, guys. So the initial investment of the project is 1,36,000 and the cash inflows for 5 years is given. Okay, the year 1, 2, 3, 4 is 30,000, 40,000, 60,000, 30,000 and the fifth year is 20,000. So after looking into this cash inflow, yeah, we will be arriving to the conclusion that it is an unequal cash flow. Okay, let me draw some lines to make it look beautiful. Okay, let us move further, guys. So, first step is that I'm just going to find my fake payback period. Fake payback period is nothing but initial investment divided by average cash flows. So, I'm just going to take the average of these cash flows. So, just enter all the values. So this will be providing me with my average cash inflows. Now I'm just substituting the formula. So my payback period is nothing but 3.78 years. Okay, if you have followed my payback period video, we have just again there also we have just divided the calculation part into two. One is when there is an uniform cash flow, I will be substituting this direct formula. Or when there is the cumulative cash flows, sorry, when there is an unequal cash flows, I will be finding my cumulative cash flow, and with the help of that cumulative cash flow, I will be arriving with my answer. So you may ask, here again we are computing payback period and the cash flows are unequal. Why you are taking average cash flow? So that's why this considered to be the fake payback period. I'm not going to give a more emphasis on the payback period. Our main aim is to find the internal rate of return. Therefore, instead of finding the cumulative cash flows and exact value, we are just going with this average cash flow, and hence it is called as fake payback period. Okay, let us move further, guys. What is our second step? Second step is present value anti-factor table. I'm just going to locate my fake payback period corresponding to what? Corresponding to 5 years period. Okay. So if I go back to this present value annuity factor table to locate 3.78, what happens is again I'm not getting an same value, so there will be this two values. I'm just going to pick an approximate value of 3.79 and 3.70. So at 3.79 the corresponding discount rate is nothing but 10 percentage, and at 3.70 the corresponding discount rate is nothing but 11 percentage. So this 10 percentage is considered to be my lower rate and this 11 percentage is my higher rate. So then what should I be doing? I should be finding my, now I just got with my lower rate and higher rate, so now I'm going to find my net present value at lower rate and net present value of at higher rate. After having these four values, that is your lower rate, higher rate, net present value at lower rate, and net present value at higher rate, substitute these values in the interpolation formula, you will be arriving with your internal rate of return. Okay, let me go to the computation part. So computation of net present value at lower rate. Since the cash flows are unequal, I'm just doing this format in an tabular form. Okay, so again I cannot use the annuity method here, so I'm just going to write the cash inflows. So guys, since the discount factor at lower rate is 10 percentage, I'm discounting factor for each year. That is the formula already we have saw. It is 1 divided by 1 plus r power n. You can either written as 1 divided by 1 plus k power n or 1 divided by 1 plus r power n. It is not an issue at all. So again, the first value is 0.909. So again, you know the computation of this, right? Because we have just elaborately saw this in our previous videos. So after multiplying this cash inflow and discounting factor, I will be arriving with my discounted cash flows. So my discounted cash flow is nothing but 1,38,260. So subtracting my initial investment, I have arrived with my net present value at lower rate. It is nothing but 2260. Okay, let us move to next thing, which is net present value at 11 percentage. That is higher rate. So I haven't worked the same here because you're going to follow the same steps here also, the cash inflow, then discounting factor. So discounting factor at 11 percentage. Okay, so and then you will be arriving with your discounted cash flow. After solving, you will be arrived with your net present value as it is done in the previous slide, that is net present value at 10 percentage. Here also I'm doing the same steps, but only the one difference is that I'm just, instead of using 10 percentage, I will be using 11 percentage to find my discounting factors. Okay, let us move further, guys. I arrived with all the values, right? Lower rate, higher rate, net present value at lower rate, and net present value at higher rate. Okay, let us substitute these values in the formula. So it goes like this, right? Yes. So once you solve the same, you will be arriving with your internal rate of return. Your internal rate of return is nothing but 10.69 percentage. Okay. So still now we have been saw the steps how to find your internal rate of return under annuity method. Annuity method is nothing but whenever there is a uniform cash inflows. So then I just teach you about the trial and error method, how to find the internal rate of return under trial and error method. With the help of, the one important point to be noted here is, with the help of present value annuity factor table. Okay, what if the present value annuity factor table is not provided with you in the examination? If you remember, in this video itself there is this chart about calculation of IRR under trial and error method. In the second step, you will be finding this: either you are going to discount the cash flows at random rates, or either you're going to discount the cash flows with the help of this present value annuity factor table. So whenever you are not provided with the present value annuity factor table, you're just going to take a random discount rates and going to discount the cash flows with the help of this random rates. So this random rates can be anything: 10 percentage, 15 percentage, 12 percentage, 25 percentage, 30 percentage. It can be anything. Okay, so what happens here is, first of all, I'm just going to discount the cash flow with 10 percentage. Okay, say I'm just discounting my cash flows at 10 percentage. My NPV results are 2260. We already computed in the previous slide. So now you wonder how to discount further. Should I use a rate higher than this 10 percentage, or should I use the rate lower than this 10 percentage? Okay. So there is not an issue at all. So this again, I'm just going to discount the cash flows with an higher rate. So the logic behind this is, guys, it's so simple. Okay, so you just see your net present value. If your at the particular rate, if the net present value arrived to be positive, then you have to discount the cash flows again with the higher discount rate to get your net present value negative, because one net present value should be of positive and another net present value should be of negative to find the IRR. So when the net present value is positive, I'm just going to discount my cash flows at what? At higher discount rate. Okay, similarly, when the net present value is for negative, suppose I'm just discounting the cash flows at rupees at 15 percentage, so I'm just arriving with a negative answer. Now what I will be doing, since I arrived with the negative answer at 15 percentage, the next thing to be discounted is with a rate which is lesser than 15 percentage, anything like 12 percentage, 10 percentage. So our main motive is that we should be having the one net present value as positive and another net present value at negative figures. Okay, when the net present value is negative, you are going to discount the cash flows with lower discount rate. Okay, guys, so this is one of the thumb rule. Do remember, because in the examinations, to my knowledge, present value annuity factor table is not provided, and most of the times you are going to discount at the random rate. So this is the thumb rule, please keep it in mind. Okay, let us move further. Okay, let me conclude this, guys. It's very very simple. Okay, because when you study with the help of the comparison, it will be more easy for you. Okay, under net present value, what is the assumption is the cash inflows are reinvested immediately. Okay, reinvested immediately at what? At the rate of cost of capital. Okay, I'm just going to reinvest the amount equal to the company's cost of capital. This cost of capital is equal to your rate of return. When it comes to internal rate of return, the cash inflows are reinvested immediately at the rate equal to IRR. Okay, internal rate of return. Here IRR is your rate of return. So thus you're having some relation between this PI and NPV method. We will be looking into it deeper in next topics and all. Okay, so this present value, this profitability index is nothing but benefit divided by cost. And the another thing to be noted here is that IRR, NPV is equal to 0 and the profitability index is equal to 1. So this NPV method is nothing but your benefit minus cost, right? So it's so simple, right? If you see this three methods is having some relation between each another, so just keep it in mind. Okay, guys, that's all for today. I'm just wrapping. And so we have just been done with our internal rate of return, one of the very important topic. Most of the times the question will be arrived with the thumb rule that at IRR, your NPV is equal to 0 and your profitability index is equal to 1. So with the help of that, you will be asked to find some missing figures or like that. Okay. By then, I'm just going to wrap my session here. Let us discuss some more topics in our study note 1 in our upcoming videos. Okay, thank you.